Beat Making Basics.
What's going on YouTube? Beat Making Basics back again with another dope video. If you're new to my channel, please do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe as well as give me a thumbs up. Definitely helps out the channel. Now today we're going to be talking about how to mix a little baby type beat in Logic Pro 10. But before we get all the way in, I do want to let you know about a 100K giveaway I'm doing. Now I'm not going to be giving away an actual $100,000, but I am going to be giving away different things on the way to 100,000 subscribers. Okay, so make sure you go to my site beatmakingbasics.com and get signed up to win along the way. We're giving away huge prizes like anywhere from headphones all the way to a MacBook Pro computer, all the way to a full studio along the journey. So make sure you go ahead and get subscribed in the channel and also sign up for the giveaways on the site. And we do also have courses that you can purchase as well as different sound packs. So let's jump into the video. Basically, the first thing I want to do on this is we're going to take this MIDI, all of these MIDI files, and we're going to change them into audio. So we're going to export the session. First things first, though, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and push Command Shift S. And what that's going to do is we're going to basically create a brand new session or a secondary version of this. So we'll do that, and then what I'm gonna come over here and do is highlight everything and then hold down Option and click on any one of the faders, and as you saw, it brought everything up to nominal gain. Okay, and so from here I'm just gonna go ahead and export the whole session as audio. So to do export as audio, we're gonna go ahead and do Command Shift E, and that's gonna bring this up right here. So what I'm gonna do here on my settings is make sure I have a WAV file. I wanna make sure it's 24-bit, not 32 or 16. I don't wanna bypass any of the plugins or include audio tails and all that other stuff. And I'd wanna turn this overload protection only off, okay? And pretty much I'm just gonna put it into a folder. So what we can do is I can either put it right here where all my Logic files are, or I can put it on my desktop. But let's say if I wanted to put it where my Logic files are, let's see here, I could pretty much just create a new folder and just say highlight drill stems. All right, so now I can always locate these stems just by going into my Logic folder. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push export. And we're going to export all those files. All right, so now that everything is exported, this might be an unnecessary step to keep on creating these projects, but I like to just have multiple projects I can refer back to. But I'm just going to push Command Shift S to create a brand new project once more. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete everything here. All right, even this. All right, so now we're gonna create an audio track, and I'm gonna come over here to the top right of the screen, go to all files here, and what I'm looking to do is get into where those Logic files are. Now, what I could do, a little quick tip here, is I could just search for it and just say highlight drill, and say stems. Okay, I'm not seeing it, so we'll just stick right here. I'm just gonna go where it says music. Where's the music at? Okay, already on it, my bad. Go to Logic, and then we're gonna go down over here to our folder that has the stems in it. So there we go. Double click here, and then we're just gonna drag everything right back into the workspace window. Now it's going to begin adding the files, and then it's going to ask us a couple of things. The first thing you're going to see here is 1, use existing tracks or create new tracks or place all files on one track. You want to keep it on use existing tracks. That way it's just going to use all the tracks right here one by one. So pull that on in, and we're good to go. So now it's time to actually listen to what we have here. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn the volume down some so it's not blaring too crazy. And we're gonna just check out what we have here. And I basically went to the hook or the main section of the beat, and we're gonna loop that because it has all of the sounds in it. All right, so it's kind of give you a vibe of what's going on. I turned that 808 off because it was blaring a little too hard. But we're gonna go ahead and turn this part back up, and we're gonna go to the mixer window right here. If you go to the top left of the screen, you can see these little knobs. That's the mixer window. And I'm just gonna go ahead and take all of these tracks and bring them on down to the lowest level. All right, and then we'll just start by actually organizing everything. So I got my 808 right here. I'm gonna pull my kick right here, snare, clap, hat, and then I have all the rest of my instrument sounds like my melody and stuff like that. So I'm gonna put it just like this. If I want to get really fancy with it, I can come over here and actually take off this one. For some reason, sometimes like it will print your files with a 1 on it at the end if you don't rename them a certain way. But it's all good. It doesn't take that long to fix this. So we're gonna do that. And we're gonna get this rolling, man. All right, bet. So we're gonna go ahead and highlight everything, and I'm gonna push Option Shift N, and that's gonna rename everything right here. That was right there. And from here, we'll pretty much just be going through the process of raising the levels of each instrument, okay? Now, before I do that though, I'm gonna go ahead and take my drums, and we're going to actually group those drums and send them over to an auxiliary track using bus 1, since that's the most available bus. We're gonna also do that same thing with the melodies, okay? And the reason why is it's gonna help out with mixing, you know, like say if I wanted to raise anything within the melodies, like all of the melody, instead of having to go over here and nudge each one up or down, I can just affect just the auxiliary track here. So I'll just name that. It's drum or drums, let's say it like that. And this one is melody. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna get rid of this audio track right here. And from here, what I want to go ahead and do is we're going to start with the drums. I'm going to bring up the kick first and then start mixing everything around that first. And I like to get the drum sounding right, and then we bring in the melody part. So I'm just going to go ahead and push Option and click on this, and it's going to take it right up to nominal gain. Let's check it out. All right, so it's coming in, it's pretty strong. A little quick tip here. And, you know, I haven't seen a whole lot of engineers or people talking about this, but I've found that at least in Logic, a good like limiter that's going to like keep it from clipping is going to be able to use Smack Attack. So put that Smack Attack plugin on there and turn this right here to clip. And it's going to basically keep it from clipping, but still let you have that bounce in the beat. So let's keep on going here. So we got kick. Let's bring up the snare. And I'm just using my ears here. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I could just, you know, say, all right, well, you know, the kick should be at this level and the snare should be at this level. No, I'm just basing everything off of how I hear it, of what I feel like it should be. You know what I mean? So I'm going to keep on bringing this up. I have this hi-hat now. But generally, you know, the hat, you know, all this stuff should be tucked under the kick. And this should be tucked under the snare and the clap. Now let's bring it over here and bring up the 808. All right, and what I'm wanting with that 808 is basically to hear that the lows on that, but not to the point where it's overtaking everything like it was in the beginning of the video. So now that we have that going, I'm just actually gonna go ahead and start taking up some of these other instruments. Now the sample part right here, that's going to be something that's going to be a main melody part. So we're going to work on that first. All right, cool. So now that we have that going, what we want to now do is start bringing in some of the other melodies. So like this synthesized voice, let's bring that up. And if you pay attention to this and how it sounds, and also you can look at the metering, but it's really the melody is kind of tucked under the drums here. All right. All right, cool. So we're gonna also bring up this flute here, and then we'll go to the next step. So now that we got the levels right, next thing I want to do is focus on actually EQing some of these tracks. So what we're going to be doing is something called subtractive EQ, and this is basically where I'm going to be making room for the lows to punch to the mix while keeping it where it sounds clear. How we do that is, like, say on this sample melody, right? I can come over here and I can take out some of the lows, and it's not going to be competing with the lows of the 808. So move that right there, move that right there. And I just want you to take a look at the analyzer here just to get what I'm talking about here. All right, so check this out. See how this is gonna be really the main part of the 808. This is the frequency range from 20 hertz all the way to 20,000 hertz. It's the range of hearing. And so what you want to do is you want to create room here for this to shine through by taking out some of the pattern, some of the frequencies here on this other instrument. Like if I lift this in here, although you might not necessarily hear it that well, but when you keep it in there with all the other instruments and everything, this is going to start muddying up the track. Okay, so I'm just going to take this and take it on up out of here. Boom. So basically everything up under 400 hertz, you know, and that's give or take based on the instruments and how they sound. And you also want to do this with like your hats. And I know my hats are going to be sitting right around like 3K to 10K. So let's just, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you wrong to the best of my ability now. Take that up out of there. Boom. All right. And let's keep on going over here and messing with this here. The claps. Usually the clap sound is going to, you know, hit anywhere between like 500 to probably around 6K. Come on now. That's the main part of the track. So I know what to take out just after like really looking at these things and seeing the frequencies. I'll take it just a little bit here, but see how this has a little bit of low right here. It's going to be competing with that 808. Okay. We're going to keep on going down the level, going down the list here. Snares probably sit around 1K to like 8K. You know what I'm saying? And some of these, you know, it just depends on the actual type of snare that you're using. So I'm actually going to just take it to right around here. All right, perfect. So we took out some of those lows just to make room here. The kick, if you really notice, it has kind of some of the same lows as the 808. So I'm not going to be, you know, taking out a lot of the lows on the kick. Doesn't make sense to. But I can come over here and take out some of the highs of that kick, and even on the 808, depending on the type of 808 that you're using. Some 808s have a little high end that makes it sound, you know, gritty, so you don't want to take that out. And from here, you're pretty much going to be doing the same thing with all these other instruments. So and I'm just doing this to show you like the graphic aspect of things, but you want to pay attention to how it sounds with your ears. All right, boom, bet. This is like the high pitch flute. It's probably gonna be right around this area. You see how it's still bringing in a little bit of noise here in the lower frequencies. Still want to take that out. All right, cool. Got that up out of there. And then lastly, this flute. And again, just stopping it and going like this to show y'all on the frequency range chart. And I took a lot out of this flute right here. I'm just going to let's hear this. That's what it sounds like now without this EQ. You know what I mean? So anyway, we got the EQing for the most part there. From here, what I like to do is just analyze this and see if there's anything we want to kind of boost up just a little bit to make it punch better in the mix. And everything sounds pretty solid. The main thing that I would want to do from here is probably go ahead and actually do some panning. So this is where we're going to nudge different instruments left or right. Cool, so we got that rolling. And lastly, we can also do some things where we can add maybe a little bit of reverb here. So we can add reverb a couple of different ways. Since the tracks are pretty much very simple, like I don't have a whole lot in the beat, it's only 9 tracks. I'm just gonna put the reverb directly on what I want to add it to. There's other ways you could do it through signal flow and different things like that, but that's what we're gonna do directly on there. So I'm gonna put it on this flute right here. And the reverb I'm going to use is Valhalla Room. Let's turn that down, delay down some. Let's check it out. So we got some pretty good things here going. Like let's say if something is kind of tucked in the mix and if you wanted to punch out just a little bit more, you can use a plugin called MV2. I keep preaching this to y'all because I know that it sounds good using it. But let's just go ahead and check out some of these instruments, because some of these instruments are a little bit tucked in the mix. Let's say like this little guy right here. Okay. All right, cool. So we got that sounding right. Now, as you can see here, it is punching just a little harder than what we kind of wanted to. I think it sounds fine, but let's say if we wanted to tail it back here, we could just come over here to the drums maybe and just tail it back like that instead of actually going in here and doing it. Cool. So we got that rolling. Now let's just go ahead and check it out from the beginning and see if it flows well. I'll go ahead and do Command S to save it, and let's check it out. And in that process, what I would also recommend doing is going over to your digital audio interface and turning the volume down on your monitors, okay, just so you can listen to it at lower volumes. And I'm actually going to do that here, although you're going to hear it, you know, at the same loudness. Now, one thing you could do, like say if you want the 808 to punch in just a little bit more, then you can go ahead and add a plugin that we use called R Bass. All right, it's by Waves, and actually it sounds pretty nice on an 808. So we can just go ahead and get the loop gear right here and solo it out. And with the actual track, and there you have it. I mean, you know, obviously when you mix the vocals in, you're gonna wanna have to probably do some more to this, but I like to keep my mixes simple on my beats. There's a lot you can do and different methods to doing different things, but I found that simplicity actually works the best. So thank you so much for watching. Again, just wanna remind you, we do have the 100K giveaway that we're gonna be doing. Each milestone along the journey to 100,000 subscribers, we're going to be giving away something. Go find out more information on my site, beatmakingbasics.com. Also, go ahead and grab a couple of courses if you want further information on how to take your beats to the next level and then produce better music. We also have some sound kits there as well. And nothing else, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as give me a thumbs up on the video if you found any of this content helpful or useful to yourself as a producer. But yeah, we're out. Thank you so much for watching.